And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, and of course, everything that we do here right here at the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate you watching and listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Plus, if you can, go ahead and like our videos, like our Facebook page, please. Like the stuff that we put out there on social media, all the great videos that we put out of Joe Soro eating like really hot chips or Joe complaining about the Lakers. Go ahead and like those videos too on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that good stuff. Plus also as well, if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Plus, of course, our great friends at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out the #1 Lakers blogger, Laker Tom, today. And of course, Jamie Sweet, aka Jamie Sweet. His 5 things are in the house, always at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out the constant arguing they go ahead and do in the comment section, get back and forth all day long, every day, seemingly all year long as well, at Lakerholics.com. Plus our good friends at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out the great crew that's there following every single word that Ox 1947 says. Okay, maybe they're just like amused by it, but still, they are really entertained by Ox 1947 at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out the great conversations on the Lakers and the NBA there at LakersBall.com. Plus our good friends at Hoop Heads Podcast Network. And if you want your lawn transformed into something much more beautiful than it is today, and you live in the Southern California area, go ahead and check out Simblades with a Y.com. You knew. I knew 2 games in less than 24 hours. The Lakers got away with 1. And they figured, you know what? Spent money. We got it. Didn't need to go ahead and try the other game. All good. Let's not even go to Phoenix. Let's not even deal with it. Well, they had to anyways because NBA regulations say you have to actually go to Phoenix. So the Lakers, less than 24 hours after they won at the Crypt against the Washington Wizards, they did fly into Phoenix and played kind of against the Phoenix Suns today without, though, LeBron. Without, of course, AD, who's gone for several weeks, which we'll talk about here coming up in a bit. Plus also as well, without Russell Westbrook, without Austin Reeves, and without JTA, although, maybe JTA should have played today because it would have given him a chance to shine, because not many Lakers had a chance to shine today because they really didn't. Because even without Devin Booker in the lineup, they were overwhelmed from the get-go. 130 to 104. It just basically, after the first 3 minutes of the game, DeAndre Ayton powering inside, had his, the way inside the lane, seemingly at will. From the outside, they were hitting threes early and often, and it was all she wrote. Even Chris Paul, who's been much maligned this season. What can I say? Chris Paul.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, revival of Chris Paul was today. And of course, it came against the hapless Lakers without pretty much all their stars. And once again, 130 to 104. And here today to talk about today's game, today's drubbing, and more so about what we can do after this schedule loss, which we just basically, when you have all those players out in street clothes, kind of cheering on from the bench, or actually just sitting on the bench because they're, again, NBA regulations. Is a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today as Jamie Sweet for his 5 things articles right there at Lakerholics.com. It is Jamie Sweet. And Jamie, we're going to touch on the game a little bit. I mean, I'm trying to take some positives out of it. And I know Mr. Nukes was there in our Lakers live watch party for a little while, and I give him credit for being there, and I truly appreciate it. This was real ugly, really fast. He was trying to find positives, like a little bit of Thomas Bryant. Dennis Schroeder, 30 points. Thomas Bryant, 16. Lonnie Walker, 16. And Kendrick Nunn, He went out there to shoot. He knew already the game was over. He just went out to shoot,
Right.
and got 7.
Yeah, all of his points were most of his shots were in the fourth quarter when the game was well in hand. So
yeah, well, the game was well out of hand, my friend. The game was well out of hand in the first quarter. So, your thoughts on today's game?
We shouldn't pile on, right? These guys.
This was a schedule loss.
Actually, if you look at the team stats, the team that was there played okay. They played okay. Shot decent percentage on threes. Didn't shoot a ton of free throws, as one should expect, without guys who pick up free throws in the game out of respect or skill. And
see, the crowd is loving you, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Either that or Joe's checking out some highlights, which I think is the latter.
It could be either which way. Point being,
I think it might be me, but go ahead, my friend.
The guys who played fine. No Russ, no JTA, and certainly no Reeves, LeBron, or AD. Pat Bev came back. Everybody shot a decent percentage. We just didn't have the skill or the ability to stop. We just lack size. Chris Paul's really good. We don't have really good defenders. Or the one really good defender we have, Reeves, wasn't playing, and AD obviously would have matched up well against Dayton. So Phoenix did what they really should have done. For that team, for the guys who played to score 104 points, it's not awful actually. And Schroeder.
What about for the guys that played in the game to give up 130 points?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what's going to happen. If they could have found a way to keep that to 110, this game might have been interesting, but it wasn't possible. It was not to be.
Was not to be indeed, but we'll get into more about what's upcoming for the Lakers and, of course, the AD injury, the speculation on that, because it's not definitively clear exactly what is wrong with that right foot. So here today to talk about the game a little bit before we get into some larger details to go hopefully cheer people up a little bit in this Christmas week. It's a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today at SimBladeswithTheY.com if you are in the Southern California area. Plus also as well, he is the man behind Ox 1947 at LakersBall.com with a great crowd there. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, I know you told me, man, it's like, hey, I didn't catch much of the game as I usually do. And I texted back, don't worry. There really wasn't a need.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interesting thought I had once I found out Russell Westbrook wasn't playing. It was, what does the NBA do in this situation? It was clear that the Lakers were conceding this game.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, you're essentially fixing the game indirectly, aren't you?
Mm.
So I know why they did it. They said, well, why would we risk LeBron going out there with Russell Westbrook? And I know Reeves got hurt a little bit, so that kind of made sense. But why is LeBron and Westbrook out? For what reason? And this is the part where Adam Silver and the NBA owners are going to have to start making a choice on whether they want this league to be taken seriously. But if the money, I guess, is still coming in from all the TV contracts, does it really matter? Do the fans care? I'm kind of curious about that discussion.
If I'm dropping $300 on a ticket today, I would be super pissed.
I would be, and they had talked about that when Brooklyn sat 8 of their players, and they got fined. What was it? He got fined $50,000, $25K. Okay. Adam Silver is going to need to make a decision here with the owners. Do you guys care about, because the players aren't going to care. Players are making $30 million a year, $20 million a year, whatever it is that they're making. They don't care. And it shows in their play, and it shows in their determination, and it shows in a lot of things. And I'm just trying to think, at what point will the fans care? I don't know if it matters. I think if you're a gambler, because I go on the Score app on my phone, and there's a little chat section there every now and then. I'll look into that. And really 90% of the commentary on there is about the line.
Well, let me just say this, Joe. I mean, in several states now, even though they're still being struck down in some, pro sports betting is becoming more and more popular around this country. It is having more and more of an influence on the way we go ahead and take a look at our sports. And actually, the way these sports organizations take care of themselves.
By the way, I want to say that your new mic is amazing.
Well, thank you.
That I like how it kind of changes colors. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's the what is the Quadrocast? Yeah, it's the HyperX Quadcast.
I like it. I like it.
Just call it your laser mic and be done with it.
There you go.
Laser mic.
It's not a permanent. I'm just alternating it between my headset and this one. So
make it permanent, baby.
What precedent are we setting here as society? Are we now going to now cater to casinos? At some point, this stuff's all going to go legal, right? That's going to be the push until somebody finally says fine.
It's just like marijuana, and when someday it's going to be legal across this country. Someday sports betting is just going to be legal. It's just like not in this state, but it is in this state. It's just sometime it down the road, it's just like let's just do it. Just forget it.
Yeah, but at what point do you deteriorate? At what point do you dilute the product? If it's just simply made for fantasy football, fantasy basketball, and gambling, at what point? This is the result of that kind of thinking. If you're not going to hold these teams accountable, then they're not going to care. So at this point, we're just going to watch the games, hoping for no hope. There's no hope in the fact that you're going to ever have. It's like a starting pitcher pitching a complete game. Those days are over, right?
Well, Z has a good point saying that fantasy football actually made the NFL bigger in this century. I mean, with the rise of fantasy football, you saw a much larger interest in the fantasy football product or in the football product, the NFL product.
So you're telling me that 42 million people that watched Dallas and the Giants a few weeks ago, that was basically because of fantasy football, right?
Yes. And I guess according to Jim Howe, Jim, thanks so much for joining us, though. I appreciate it, even though you say I sound like Doug Benson, the pot-smoking comedian.
I don't know who that is.
I do. I've been called Emo Phillips before, too, so there you go.
Emo Phillips.
Yeah, it's going way back. Comedian.
Good one, Jim.
Type in UHF, and there you go.
That's a good one, Jim.
Yes.
That's a good one.
I guess I'm trying to figure out if this is going to be a game I'm going to continue to watch down the road.
Please do for us.
Well, and that's the part that this, I guess, podcasts are another big thing, right? I don't know what are we watching? Are we going to watch Kendrick Nunn play 30 minutes a game 5 times a year?
Not if you're lucky.
Are we gonna rig everything according to just, hey, you know what, this is the way it is now, and we're just gonna accept it? I think that's really what it's come down to is we've accepted these mediocre products and given it in terms of monetary situations a grade A product. There's no one's held accountable for a lack of good product. We have now accepted the infomercial product in sports to a degree, at least tonight. Anyways, tonight we saw a pathetic display of a product being shown in a professional sport. And at what point do we hold these guys accountable for giving us this product?
Follow the money, my friend. Follow the money.
Okay, follow the money to what? The product sucks.
That's usually where all roads lead.
Okay. So let's get down to brass tacks. I didn't watch a minute of the game today when I found out Russell Westbrook wasn't playing, because then at that point I knew something was going on. Something, unprofessional was going on. So I said, you know what?
Let me ask you this, Joe. Would you have said that 4 months ago?
No. It has nothing to do with Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
I'm talking about they've conceded the fact that, and that was a huge alert for me. Here's a guy that doesn't miss games. He's one of those guys. He's one of those freaks that can probably play 82 games a year if they'd let him. And he's not. For what reason? So that you can save him up for what? What are you saving up LeBron for this year? For what? Maybe if you have LeBron and Westbrook tonight, maybe you have a chance to win, considering Booker was out. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, I put my foot down tonight. I didn't watch the game. Normally I would. Something. Okay, I didn't watch the game tonight, and I could have, even where I was. I've watched games at dinners with friends and family numerous times on my phone. Everyone understands who I am. Everyone knows what I do. I didn't turn it on once. Not even once. And the only reason why I knew somewhat of the score is because every time I went onto the Scores app, I was looking at the Green Bay stuff, looking at my, other scores of the game, of what was going on today. And I would know what was going on by the scores that I saw.
And you've been on record several times saying you've watched so many minutes of majority of the minutes, almost all the minutes of the last, 10, 15, 20 years of Lakers.
This is the first game, probably first game I watched absolutely nothing. I'm talking not even a shred of a highlight during the game in, I think, 5 years. I was insulted today. I was insulted by the NBA product, and I was insulted by the Lakers' inability to give those people who bought tickets tonight the ability to watch LeBron James and Russell Westbrook possibly the only time in their lives. It's a disgrace, and there needs to be someone now to say this. And I think if there's a crusade down the road as our show becomes popular, I am going to be pushing for this, not only in basketball, but in all sports. In all sports, it's a little difficult in football because those guys can't risk being out because they have a very short career. They got to do everything they can to get that one big contract at the very least. Baseball is a Dave Roberts, Andrew Friedman culture of wussiness, but I wanted to use the other word. So
remember, we got bleeped twice last time, Joe. I
am telling you right now on December 19th, 2022, December 19th, 2022, while everyone is sitting there yapping and whining about why Zach Wilson stinks, why the Cowboys blew it, why the Raiders, why the Patriots made the dumbest play on the planet, I'm going to be the guy in the background going, why isn't LeBron James playing in Phoenix tonight when he's healthy? Why is Russell Westbrook, who never misses games, not playing tonight and giving us a shot? Especially when Devin Booker wasn't playing.
Yeah. Why is Devin Booker not playing when he just scored 58 the other night? Looked pretty healthy then.
No, That's it. This is going to be the norm here, guys. So if you guys want to join in. It's time that there needs to be some pressure on this, and I'm getting tired of watching this. I'm getting tired of dealing with this thing that who's going to play and who's going to go. I haven't been to a Laker game in 2 years because of this crap. I don't know if LeBron's going to be playing that game. I don't know if AD is going to be playing that game. It matters. But then again, I have said on record, they don't really need our fans. That's just extra money. They got the TV contracts, especially the Lakers. They got, I think, the biggest regional contract in the NBA. It's $3 billion for 20 years.
I was going to say, I think the Dodgers in Major League Sports probably has the biggest one.
But in the NBA, but in the NBA, I do believe it is the NBA.
It is the Lakers, yes.
Are you sure over MSG?
Regional, yeah, I think it is.
Regional, I think it's still the Lakers. I don't think MSG has a $3 billion deal. They might. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Because they're still, as a team, they're worth more than the Lakers.
Correct. But the Lakers would sell.
I think that's because they have stake in Madison Square Garden, or at least more of a stake than the Lakers.
I'm just asking. That's why I'm asking.
True.
Not 100% sure on that. Sure on that.
Okay. So back again. I'm the easiest answer to my concerns is, Joe, well, why do you keep watching? Because I'm not a quitter. I'm not a witch. I was going to use the other word too. Okay? I don't quit. I don't press delete on your comments. Okay? I stay in the fire, and I try to help advance this. I'm not going to sit here and cry like a little girl and tell them I'm not going to do this. Now, I didn't watch tonight for advertising purposes. Advertising. They didn't get me for 2.5 hours watching their lame car commercials or their whatever commercials with those promos on how everyone's a tough guy on the Lakers. No. So we're gonna have to figure out how to solve this issue. Now, I have a lot of respect for Adam Silver. If there's a commissioner in sports right now, when you compare Manfred, Bettman, and that clown Goodell, Adam Silver is ahead of those 4 guys by a mile.
But he's not.
Or 3 guys. But of all 4, he's the one. I would say if there's one guy that could probably put something here to help, I think it would be him. And he did put a little bit of an alert on Brooklyn with their fine. Is it enough? Probably not. But if I'm Adam Silver, I'm going into the next CBA going, you guys we know we're going to be getting this next deal, and this is all going to help us out with money, but I got a couple of stipulations, guys. You can't just miss games anymore. There's got to be something done about this, and I'm gonna be at the forefront of this.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers, unfortunately, very shorthanded, intentionally just kind of took the schedule loss, 130 to 104. Jamie, I want to just throw in something before we hit it over to you. Zangerstein, again, just killing it out there in the chat. Everyone out there is great in the world's best Lakers chat.
That's a great line saying Z. That right there. Okay, I'm gonna read it.
Go ahead.
Look at their table talks, the useless debates. They're taking the popularity of the stars, not the popularity of the NBA. So all these guys talk about half the freaking time throughout the years, who's the greatest of all time? It's like every other day, that's all they know. Who's the greatest here? Who's the greatest there? Who gives a crap? Who cares? This discussion is lazy. It's lazy, done by no talents. If you're going to continue to talk about something you're never going to find the answer to, then you're useless. Find something different, okay? Let's get going here. Enough of the Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, who's the greatest. Who cares? Everyone had their time in their era. They had different rules, different mentality. You can't compare them anyways. Who cares in the end? You'll never know the answer. But apparently, people are taught to watch this stuff. So we're going to start teaching the crowd now how to care about watching the stars playing. We're going to try to teach the crowd as we get bigger, hopefully, to stop worrying about stuff that's already been rehashed over and over again. Let's talk about who's the best now. I'll have that discussion because that's a debate. We don't know who's number 1 right now. You could say it's Giannis. You can say it's Luka. You can say it's Anthony Davis when he plays. But there's really no clear-cut player at this point. There is no, and I'd say it's I guess the 70s was Kareem, but who is the best? This is the first time in any era that I can remember where there isn't a clear-cut number 1. Let's talk about that and see why these guys are not playing when they're supposed to, why they're not putting the product out there that matters. Because if Booker isn't playing tonight and LeBron and Westbrook play well, maybe we win.
Jamie, any thoughts to concur or compound on that?
Listen, the NBA has sanctioned this since Kawhi Leonard basically told the Spurs he wasn't going to play. That's where we're at with this in terms of the league doesn't buy into it. They basically have to give it's not that Joe's wrong. It's just the NBA is going to err on the side of defending the product in general. And the sport, all sport, as it's one of those funny things. As technology gets better, everything breaks more. As sports science and sports medicine gets better, players play less. Like it's the perhaps over improving of something, or I don't know. Everything's going to change, and it's going to be hard to push back against this, but I think it's worth trying. I mean, I think simply for the standpoint of the fan who gets, it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when the family can buy a chocolate bar, and like in the story, they luck into a golden ticket, but most families don't get golden tickets from chocolate bars. They just are able to afford a small, meager, one-time out kind of affair. And if this is the game you pick to go see with your family tonight, like that just really sucks, right? And same with the Brooklyn game, it definitely sucks. But there's no denying that the NBA doesn't care at all. Like if LeBron blows a knee or an Achilles, that hurts them more than one game and 20 games, maybe even, So I don't know. I it's not that I disagree. I don't see it changing, I suppose, because I'm a pessimist. But I think it's, of all the fights that you could fight against professional sports, that's the one that there has to be, if not forcing them to play, then there has to be an accountability to the fan on some level. And if that means an economic recompensation, then that's what it means. But it definitely isn't fair to, John Q fans showing up with the kids to see a game for the first time in 5 years and getting that. And, it was a concession. It's an interesting point. How does that affect your bet in Vegas? How does that, it's an interesting point. I'm far more worried personally about the actual state of the team, which I think is, I just really think it's run its course. This version of the Lakers. I have started to move quickly and firmly towards whatever we can get for Anthony Davis is something we should start to aggressively consider.
And that's something I want to ask you guys, both of you. I mean, that's something because we see that the word with Anthony Davis, again, very vague, no specifics about his right foot injury. Nobody is saying exactly what it is, what the damage is on it, other than he's just going to be out about a month, which is very vague in and of itself. Is it going to be reevaluated in a month? Does it mean that possibly he could be having surgery on it and he could be out the rest of the season? Guys, you got to help me on this, because it's just really starting to get too vague for me. I mean, to me, it needs a clarification so we can go and move on from there, because it just makes things clear what we need to do going forward as a team.
I mean, I think they're drawing it out. I think that they are taking their time and drawing it out, because it's one of two things. It's either relatively quick turnaround, or it's season ending. Those really seem anything. If it's not quick, it won't matter what to come back to, and so it is essentially season ending. If it's like 2 months, right? Why bother? Why bother coming back? You're just gonna hurt yourself again. You're just other than the people who bought season tickets, and but from a team standpoint, and I'm sure from a front office standpoint, they'll err on the side of, we'll go for this. Really, you're going to get another summer of getting yourself in the best shape you possibly could, just like last summer and the summer before that. And this is the summer. This is the summer, because it's a contract year that you're just going to nail it. And I don't see it. I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can play more than 50 games a season at best.
And that's troubling to me. And he's not getting any younger. He's right around 30 now. So
he's a $37 million contract. And it's funny because people have really piled on Russ hard for about a year and change now. Who shows up the most out of all the Lakers superstars is Russell Westbrook, and he always plays hard. And
Is he worth the $47 million? But I get your point.
Besides the no. It's beside the point at this point. That's the milk has been spilled. The milk has been spilled. That $47 million is so last year. It's not going anywhere. Joseph Soro, please.
I am going to mention, because sometimes we are prisoners of the moment, and sometimes I'll catch myself being in that moment. It's just it's a habit. It's human nature. Shaquille O'Neal, the reason why he didn't win 3 or 4 MVPs was because of this. That's how they got back at him, because he would miss way too many games. The year that he played, other than his first 2 years, the year that he played a significant amount of games happened to be in 2000, when he had one of the greatest statistical seasons in the history of the NBA. And that needs to come back. But the reality of this, and that's probably why it's bothering me, is I know the truth. I know that I'm probably living on fantasy land at this point. The point of playing and getting MVPs and averaging 30 points used to mean, oh, I'm going to get a huge contract. Now, you don't really need to do much to get a big contract. I mean, Giannis has played, I think he's missed 5 games already this year. And in the last 3 years before this year, he had played, I believe, 63, 61, and 67 games. He's never played 82 games. He's played 81 and 80. So
how many players actually have that's around the
and that's the thing. It's become this starting pitchers are not pitching after the 5 and 6 innings anymore. They've diluted the game so much that we've just how are we ever going to see greatness anymore? When you ask for parity, to me, in my experience, you dilute greatness. Greatness is greatness. You want trashy teams. The Rams winning the Super Bowl last year, I remember thinking, I'm like, really? The Rams won the Super Bowl? Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl? That's how I felt after the game. It didn't even feel like a Super Bowl. I was actually, as a Steeler fan, I know this is sacrilege, but I wanted Burrow to win. Burrow shows greatness. That's what I want to see. As much as it hurts to watch them win, as much as it hurt to see the Patriots do what they did, I saw greatness. I want to see greatness. I don't want to see mediocrity. And I want the message to go back out there. Should our audience grow large, hopefully in the thousands and the 100,000s, this is going to be the lesson. This is going to be the discussion that I want to have out there, that I feel is important. We need to hold these guys accountable. I want to see the greatest athletes play on December 19th on a back-to-back in Phoenix when I buy a goddamn ticket. Especially if they're healthy. They're not healthy, I get it. Sore foot, my ass. Sore foot. I have a sore foot, and I'm just walking.
Well, the listed injuries tonight: sore foot, sore foot, sore foot, sore groin, sore foot. You insert your own jokes there. So with Zangerstein, just incredible coming as far as the quotes right there. She says she actually listened to a talk with smart guys. Could be us. You never know. The NBA is actually too skilled. Imagine defending from the 3-point line back to the rotation in the basket. In the 90s, no one is guarding the 3-point line. We see it all the time with the Lakers, how frustrating it is.
We saw it in the 2020 season.
The two worst words to me in today's age: drop coverage.
We saw it 2020. One of the exciting parts about that season, besides winning the championship, was I was always waiting for those 4 or 5 years where I'm like, who's going to bust this 3-point heavy league? The Lakers of 2020 did it. They made that shot useless in 4 series. And the only reason why they went 6 against Miami was Jimmy Butler
playing insane.
I remember I was watching Game 5, and I'm like, is this really happening? Like, is Jimmy Butler playing like Michael Jordan right now?
He gave you everything,
and the way he bent over on that times table.
I remember.
That's what I want to see, and that's not a Laker. But when I saw him doing that, that is what you respect. The guy was bringing it and squeezed every ounce of his talent, every ounce of effort, so much so that they were dead in Game 6. Dead. It was like once AD started doing AD things, Frank Vogel, one of the really, really great moves of that whole run, putting in Caruso to basically, it's like they put in Caruso in the starting lineup and basically said, we're cutting your head off right now. We know you're dead. It gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps to think about. We were knowing this before the game started. I saw it happening. I'm like, dude, Frank Vogel's going for the jugular. Putting Caruso in there, and then after about 2 or 3 minutes, you're seeing AD basically guarding 3 guys, and they can't do jack squat. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
But you got to give him credit, though. Alex Caruso is now being talked about. His career and the level of play that he does as far as on the defensive end, it's gotten to the point where the guy shoots less than 5 shots a game on average, yet he's being talked about, because Chicago's not doing very well, being traded for a first-round pick, which shows you the kind of value he has still within, and the cachet he has within the league because of what he's done with the Lakers and with the Bulls.
Well, I would really consider, honestly, trading. I would really do this. And I know it's not – look, beyond the fact that he's a fan favorite, beyond the fact that we love him, okay, let's look at this from just a basketball perspective, okay? We need – the lighting isn't good when I do that. We need –
and I gotta look good when I talk.
We need killers on this team. Austin Reeves has a little bit of killer in him. LeBron he's a nice guy. Okay, let's be real. LeBron is a nice guy. A 6'8", 260-pound nice guy. AD is a nice guy. He's an eloquent nice guy. Russell Westbrook has got a dog in him. The problem is the dog has rabies half the time. It's good one half, bad the other half. And I don't know which one it is. Sometimes it's the ass end of it. Sometimes it's the head. It's always going back and forth. So how about we go call Chicago and say, you guys want to drop DeRozan's contract for next year? We'll take on Caruso. Here's Westbrook. Here's a first-round pick. Let's kind of get back to the basics. Let's get some guys that can hit some mid-range shots like DeRozan can help you back up your guys a little bit, the guys that are your stars. This guy is like the perfect third star. He's the perfect complement to your game. And then you have Caruso, who comes back, plays his 20 minutes, and gives you an effort that this team desperately needs. And imagine him and Reeves playing, at the perimeter on defense with the AD backing them up. I mean, it becomes now you've solved so many problems just there. You still need more talent, probably. Maybe one more shooter. You need one shooter. So then you use Nunn and Bev to go get that one shooter. Bogdanovich, I don't care who. Someone. If you want to salvage the season. But today didn't give me a lot of confidence that they wanted to salvage the season. Today, they did what most people do these days. Quit. And just quit. They quit. They're like cowards.
Jamie, let me ask you this. You always are I don't want to say you're always at the mercy of Laker Tom's trade proposals on LakerHolics.com, right there for you. They're plastered right there each and every day. And I know you say have your fill, and I say a lot on Twitter, and I see all the comments to Laker Tom's trade proposals. But When it comes to what you have in mind to improve this team, especially with AD now out, what could be more than a month. I have a feeling this is going to drag on for a little while because they're not telling us exactly what's wrong with that right foot. What's your thoughts on how we can still try to improve this team?
I mean, well, there's two thoughts. There's something we could do today that I think could realistically happen. And then there's some things that, are probably not going to unfold for like another month or so. Month to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. And that's at that point, it's likely that we'll be, still have not won 20 games, have lost close to 40 games in a couple of months. Maybe not 40 games, but point being, we won't be looking favorably at the rest of the schedule. So if you want to start fixing the problem now, you need to bring in scoring. I don't think you can fix the defense this season. I don't think it's possible. I don't think there's the talent that's available. I don't think we can trade for the talent that's available. I do not believe it can be done. You have to pick one side. You can't fix both sides of the court with the resources that we have. You have to pick one. And so if I had to pick, based on the fact that you can't count on AD to play, you just can't, then you have to focus on the offensive end because LeBron can't do it all by himself. There's not enough people who are good defenders and good scorers on this Laker basketball team. There's just not. People had hoped Kendrick Nunn would be better really at everything, and he's been, pretty awful. Schroeder this is his best game so far. Is it a portend of things to come? No, I kind of doubt it. He's not going to play this role going forward. This isn't what he does on this team. Russ can't be counted on to score more than 20 points a game, and that's on a good night. LeBron can't do this forever, and then you're left with guys who are like averaging about 10 points a game for the rest of the team. Lonnie Walker's like 13, 14. Reeves is around 10. Troy Brown Jr. 10, a little less than. Thomas Bryant's 10, 12. You need people who can put the ball in the basket and not suck at defense. I'm not just talking about 3-point shooters. I'm talking about like somebody who can score from multiple spots on the floor. There are two players like that are free agents right now. They're old, and they've both been Lakers before. One is Carmelo Anthony, and the other is Boogie Cousins. You got to waive Damian Jones, who isn't doing anything. You have to cut bait and run on some of your projects, and you're going to eat a lot of money. The Laker organization will eat a lot of money getting rid of Jones for nothing, but it has to be done because you need more from that position at this point because again, Thomas Bryant is too small. We saw that against DeAndre Ayton. He admirably played well against Jokic for half of a game, but you can bet Mike Mullen's going to neutralize that next time. That won't ever happen again. Jokic and Mike Mullen are too smart. So you have to, and these are players you can get for cheap, which makes the Laker front office happy. Like they're acquirable. It's acquirable talent without giving a pick, without trading anybody worth anything. If there's a market for Russ, it's not going to be till February. It's just not. It won't be until February, and that's too late. So then you look at Pat Bev, you look at Nunn, you look at Reeves, Lonnie Walker. All those guys are Thomas Bryant Jr. All those guys are going to get paid next year, more than what we're paying them this year. Who are you keeping? Really? Pick three. Thomas Bryant Jr., Reeves, Lonnie Walker. That is Troy Brown Jr., see you later. Pat Bev, see you later. Everybody else basically see you later, right?
Well, the only ones under contract is LeBron, AD, Max Christie, who actually, I want to make a correction. We thought he was on contract for 3 years. He's actually only under contract for
just
2
years. No, it's absurd.
That's how depressing. What a dumb move. Again,
well, it's all supposed to.
Remember when I was earlier this season, I was saying what a dumb move that was. It looks even dumber now.
It's even dumber now. And you know it's going to get really dumb next summer. That's what it's going to be. Absolutely hilariously dumb. My point is this: there's two tradable assets on this team because the team is the Lakers are obviously all in on LeBron James. All those players that I just mentioned, you can trade for something that will barely move the needle, if at all. You're going to have similar defensive or offensive issues. You trade for a defensive guy, you can't shoot. Trade for an awesome offensive guy who can't defend, which is where I come up with the pick one side and really just try to be really as good as you possibly can with what you have to work with and what you can easily acquire. And so I honestly believe you will get more. And this is going to sound crazy, I feel like, but it's what it's where I'm at right now. I think you still get more for AD than you do for Russ, which is crazy to say.
Well, then let me clarify this then. I want to go ahead and throw this out there before we end the show. And I want to ask you, so we're all on the record now. I mean, Joe had me on that train for AD. Obviously, he was doing great, top MVP candidate, the whole 9 yards. Then obviously he gets hurt again. Bringing me back, and I think bringing him back, are we now clarified, at least the guys on this show, saying that's probably best to start looking at options for an AD trade?
It has to be done. It has to be done. It has to at least be entertained seriously. It can't be like,
at least you got to put it on the table.
And not shirk away from it. And then the problems just get bigger though. You can't trade AD to like Indiana. Clutch will flip out. You have to trade AD somewhere he wants to go, which is really basically Chicago. He doesn't want to go to Knicks and like try to save the Knicks. Nobody wants to go save the Knicks. The Knicks are a dumpster fire. It's Chicago, and you can get. I think Joe's trade is kind of close. I think you could get DeRozan or you could get Vukovic, depending on if you want size or shooting or like more scoring. I go back and forth. I'd be fine either way. And then you got to get Caruso and then maybe Kobe White. But that's going to take 2 picks. And does that will that happen?
Is this Laker front office? AD, you have to replenish what you gave up originally.
It's not happening. That's actually, you could maybe do pick swaps with the Bulls because they have a crap ton of their own first round picks. You might be able to get one like in 2024 or maybe some second rounders. You might be able to do a little bit of a replenish there. And you're betting, and Chicago's betting on all of their broken down guys being healthy next season and going for it next season. That's what you're selling here. The Lakers don't have a lot to work with. This is honestly, I don't see how you because of the moves made to now. I don't see a trade or two fixing this to a salvageable point. It'll be maybe more respectable, but not with like the attitude of like, well, this is a game we can just give up on. We're already down. What? We're now at 12 and 17, 13 and 11, 12 and 17, right?
13 and 17.
13 and 17.
13 and 17. Right. Thank you. What if we had won this game trying hard, right? Now you're looking at 14 and 16 and another one of those gutty, gritty wins. So I really do hope, except that I don't hope, that everybody's kind of hurt, but I doubt it. And, I don't know, man. I haven't had a lot of faith in this Laker front office for a little over a year now. And, really since we've won the title, to be honest, I have every move since then has been increasingly more puzzling than the last. And I'm now utterly befuddled and bewildered by what direction they think they're moving in.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Lakers, unfortunately, don't field much of a team and don't put up much of a fight against the Phoenix Suns tonight, 136-104. Joe, I just discussed it with Jamie, had some great points. The chat has been awesome today. Zangerstein, Sovereign, all been amazing today in the chat. Truly cannot thank you, Johnny 2K6, enough for truly being part of a great holiday. We know everybody's busy this time of the year, but we cannot thank you enough for spending some time out of your holiday week with us. Joe, I wanted to ask you this real quick, though. Again, you started hinting in that direction as of Sunday when you heard the news. It looks like at this point in time, I think the smart money, if, again, everything up there in the front office was smart, I would at least start hearing some offers because I don't know. This is just going to be a cyclical thing with Anthony Davis, I believe, going forward for the rest of his career.
So we heard this week by the new CEO of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, firing Henry Cavill as Superman. And your initial reaction was probably like, whoa, what are you guys thinking? I know I did. This is Superman. This is one of the few guys that actually embodies movie star.
Henry Cavill, you mean?
Is that what I didn't I say that?
You said Cavill. So
sorry, Cavill. Sorry. And then a couple days later, I started thinking, because apparently The Rock unfollowed Warner Brothers and everyone associated with Black Adam or whatever. And now there's an issue there.
He says he didn't. His official statement says he did.
Whatever. Every time something happens, he says it's the opposite when we know it was. So I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why he keeps making stuff up. It didn't make money. No, it did make money. Dude, these guys have been doing this for 120 years. They've been cooking the books for 120 years. You can't do that. You're not gonna be back in the game anymore. And you're not that good of an actor to stay the course. You're gonna be relegated to doing XFL and all that stuff, whatever it is that he does at those games.
Don't feel too bad for Henry Cavill.
Well, I'm a big fan of his apparel, so I'm not dogging the Rock in terms of that kind of stuff.
I'm talking about Henry Cavill. Don't feel too bad because he got let go as Superman, because he just walked into his dream job with Warhammer 40K.
Good,
yeah,
very good.
He's
the point of this
$8 bajillion.
The key here is the new CEO is cutting everything. He has made a decision that, guys, yes, we would love to keep this guy, but nothing's really gone right with what's here right now. We need to just clean the slate. And we talked about this a week ago anyways. The Lakers team keeps doing patchwork. It's not going to work. It's time to blow it up.
Fingers in the dam type deal.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. But Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss are not capable of understanding that, at least from what I've seen. They're going to keep holding on. They're going to keep worrying about what Clutch thinks. This is why you don't listen to an agency when it comes to your business. They only care about their clients. And I understand they're a big part of the team and getting them over there. But at some point, there needs to be a line drawn where, well, there's certain things we can't do. And right now, are we going to continue to put out the same lame 10, 12 game players, and then they're going to be out for a month? And then when they're not out due to injury, they're out because they feel like they don't want to play anyways. So then what are we going to do then? What's the deal there?
I just think they got to start taking offers. I really think they just have to start looking into it. And they got to start. They will not get what they gave up.
Oh, no.
But what they can do is they can get a package of players and picks. We saw what Rudy Gobert got.
Rudy Gobert plays.
Yeah,
it's not even a comparison.
True, but Rudy Gobert doesn't have he may have half the talent of Anthony Davis. Maybe.
Anthony Davis, as a Laker, has played in 62% of the possible
I understand, but
games.
You're trading him on the potential for another team to go ahead they're buying into the potential of Anthony Davis when they trade for him, much as the Lakers did in 2019 when they traded for Anthony Davis, on the potential of Anthony Davis, which came true in 2020 for a period of time, which even the most ardent of Lakers fans says, yes, the Lakers did get 4.5 months of rest. So, LeBron and AD came back fresh for that run that they did. So, okay, that's great. But when it comes to Anthony Davis, I think that you at least have to start fielding those offers, and you just can't turn a blind eye to it anymore.
No, you can't.
Yeah. But once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do end up losing tonight, 136-104, I believe was the final score. Going to go ahead and check that out right now. But before we head on out, Guys, I just want to go ahead and say what's upcoming here on the schedule as the Lakers continue. It's actually 130 to 104. My apologies. 130 to 104. Before we head on out, the Lakers still have a little bit of work to go. We always talked about it's going to make it even harder for them to go ahead and finish 500 by the end of the month. Jamie, let me ask you this first up. When it comes to the Lakers, do you see them at least winning the majority of their games, even though AD is out of the lineup for the rest of this month?
No.
Pretty much what Joe gave me yesterday.
No, I mean, look, we might win Wednesday, right? We play Wednesday, and we're against Dallas on Christmas Day. We always play bad on Christmas.
Well, don't forget the Friday game at home versus Charlotte.
Yeah, I feel like Charlotte's kind of on an upswing. They're starting to find their groove. Hayward's back.
If we can steal the game
back
in Sacramento, would that change your perspective just a little?
Yeah, I mean, look, I just don't expect us to win any of the next 3 games. So I think that's going to pretty much put a nail in that coffin. You would have to steal the Sacramento game and beat Charlotte, which, I mean, all of it's possible, right?
Zangerstein's saying that she's betting that they will win 5 straight. Honest, that's Laker Tom for you. That's channeling her Laker.
If they win
Tom
5 straight, that means I'm doing the challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings.
There you go.
All right.
Clarify. I want to get this clarified. So
yeah, let's get this one in writing.
There is no clarified. It's already in the books. I already said it 10 shows ago.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard that, but
I heard it.
Yeah, I know. We already said it.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. I think that getting to 500 is not going to happen until maybe the end of January. The Lakers are going to be on a continual uphill climb. It just looks like there's going to be at least 2 or 3 more scheduled losses where they sit people down over the next 6 weeks, which is going to irritate Joe to no end.
Don't buy tickets in the second night of a back-to-back, Laker fans.
Yeah.
Don't do
it. You can bet on all those.
Don't do it. Be a smart consumer. Is it annoying? Yeah. Yes. Should we stop it? Hopefully.
Well, now you know why they offer those great package deals, including the Lakers. Yes, because there you go. That's why. Because come see LeBron sitting on the bench. They say come see LeBron, but they don't tell you come see him in action. Come see him sitting on the bench. It's usually the case of that for those back-to-backs. But what are you going to do? I mean, this is the way the league is set up. Joe said it. It's just until this changes, this is going to continue to happen. So just very frustrating indeed. But once again, the Lakers do lose 130 to 104 to the Phoenix Suns. Johnny 2K says, do the reverse Emperor Palpatine. Don't do it.
Do it.
Emperor Palpatine. Channeling Emperor Palpatine right there for you. So
Order 64.
Zangerstein says all they need to do 66. Is use the rotation they used against Denver and the Wiz. So
no. I mean, that's a nice thought, Zangerstein. But
you got to stay away from those tiny lineups that they have.
Most teams in the NBA have a center that's not 6'9". That's I believe Thomas Bryant's height, and he's not exactly a leaper. He's a good boxing. He's good at boxing out, pretty good at boxing out, but he's gonna get. He's not. This team has this team already had such a small window for, errors and lack of talent and bad play and injuries.
But the Lakers don't actually meet a good center again until the 9th of January when they're at playing against Denver.
I don't even think it takes a good center. I think actually a good center they zero in on and play better against, like Embiid, like Horford, and like Jokic. I think it's like our guys, just hustle guys, that give them a lot more problems because it's usually LeBron. It's going to be LeBron playing center. LeBron doesn't want to run around and box out. It's just, there's just so much working against this team on a fundamental level that it's just, without AD and even with him, if you just can't really, I mean, who counts on how can you even entertain the notion of counting on the guy at this point? So, it's, I want this Lakers. I really like this version of the Lakers a lot at this point because they are gritty. But if he's out for a month or more, it just doesn't matter. Like it's done. It's done effectively. So, this is what a season of like 3 summers of mismanagement looks like. Like it builds to this kind of deflating. You're gonna be looking at things and being like, how do we get here? This is not my Laker team. This is not my crypto.com arena. But anyway, we might steal one of these games, but if again, this team has such a narrow window for success, and it just keeps getting smaller.
Z says, Jamie, that's her point, that they never used the LeBron at center lineup since AD sat.
LeBron doesn't want to play center. It's not for he's 38 years old or about to be. He wants to shoot threes and drive for some open, let Russ create some open shots for him every once in a while. And he's really good at that. So this is going to be a slog. It's going to be a real ugly slog. And if it gets real ugly fast, it's going to be a hard choice for the Lakers. Like, obviously they want LeBron to break Kareem's record, right? But like, does anybody want to see that happen in a season like this? Where you're just like hoping to squeak by against Sacramento or Charlotte, and not feeling like the front office made their best move, that the team never was able to like put its best foot forward. It's just you just expect better from the Lakers, and it's just not happening these days, and it's disappointing.
Before we head on out, I got one more question for you guys. Joe, I'll hit you up with on this first. The next 10 games before we meet Denver in January, the Lakers have games against a lot of right around 500 teams. If you include Sacramento, we're not including, and I'm not including Charlotte because they're well below 500, but that's a lot of winnable games against some teams that are up and down one night to the next.
Sorry, Johnny 2K6 is killing me tonight.
Yep. But I also want to mention again, these are the next 10 games before they meet Denver once again. Again, you could be facing a lot of teams. Again, they're up and down one day to the next.
I feel you, Zanger. I feel you, Zanger. Sorry, I misconstrued your comment. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
We're gonna need to make a decision on if this team wants to win regularly. There's no reason why LeBron and Russell Westbrook shouldn't have played tonight, especially with Booker out. You're not 20-10, guys. You're not 20-10. You're 13-17. You have no room to coast. If they think they're just going to get into the play-in and then make a run, I guess maybe that sort of makes sense. But it's just not. For me, it just doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're not a team that can turn it on when you want to. It's just not. That's not who you are. I'd like to be wrong, though. I'll tell you that. If it happens, I'll be the first to say, you know what? I'm done talking the NBA. I don't know anything about the NBA anymore. It's just losing. Losing is a disease. Quitting is a disease. Coward.
Well, I agree.
Cowardice.
With 2K6 though. Games against borderline 500.
I'm fully aware that there are a lot of times during the day I realize I might have been born a little too late in the era. But then I start thinking back. Well, doesn't every generation, every era of guys in their 40s feel like that the generation right now sucks ass? There's a little bit of that too. And I get it. But let's be real, guys. I mean, come on. What are you doing? You're getting paid $40 million, $35 million to not play? It's an insult to those who have to go to work every day and have to work. Otherwise, they're not getting jack squat. And you hear words like community, humbleness, all this crap that these guys say. And I'm like, you're saying it, but you ain't doing jack squat about it. You're not living up to what you're saying. And when you're hard on those guys for that, you're looked on as, well, you're this boomer, or you're not being considerate or whatever. No, I am. I'm paying attention to what people say. I dissect what people say. It's part of my evaluation daily, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's going to the store. It doesn't matter. Everything that you see during the day is analyzing. How are you going to turn left while you're driving? Are you going to be more likely to get around traffic if you make this move versus that move? Everything's about that process, at least for me. And everything is made at some point to make things better and more efficient. And you don't see that a lot in anything anymore. Everything is mediocre. Everything is accepted that something is trash. And all people do is get on social media, complain, and then go sit on their lazy asses and do nothing about it. Or they'll have discussions about who's the greatest player of all time for the 18th time. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of that discussion. I'm sick of this laziness. I'm sick of these people talking about humbleness and we're here to do the right thing and we do this and we do that. And then I see you and you're like, you got a sore foot out of nowhere. Getting paid $40 million a year and you have a sore foot all of a sudden. You know what? Eat it. That's what I got.
Jamie.
I didn't watch tonight. Eat it. So you had one less guy who's been watching these games, not watching your stupid car commercials and your stupid drug commercials, which is all these a-holes put on TV these days. Go buy a car you can't afford and go ahead, use this dope for your earache that manifested itself because this commercial told you might have a problem. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, that's what I see. Bunch of dopers pushing stuff and a bunch of car people selling things people can't afford. In a society that's already riddled with debt. By the way, let's cater to the gamblers too on top of all that, so that kids can grow up and learning. Well, it's about the money. Yeah, let's teach our next generation that gambling is what we're doing now. That won't ruin their life.
Well, before I send it over to Jamie, you do realize the other day you and I had a conversation that a gambling company actually did inquire about becoming a sponsor for our show.
We're gonna have to make a decision.
He forgot that email.
I totally forgot that email.
I didn't forget about the email. I didn't know they were a gambling company.
Did you not read the email? He said they were
not even one sentence.
Not one sentence.
Why do I?
Sin blades. Get your law. All right. Hi, I'm Gerald Glassford, and I'd like to send it back over to myself to end tonight's broadcast because
they said actually they were having representatives, I think, evaluate us and then let us know if they want us to be a part of it. So
don't let them watch tonight's show.
Yes, absolutely. It'd be so great when I do their reads and Joe's going to be, his eyes will be rolling like in 15 different directions if that ever happens. But my friend, Mr. Jamie, before we head on out, any last words? Since Joe never actually really answered my question on the next 10 games, and a lot of them being with the teams around 500, and he just went off on a Joe-like thing, which is cool because it's, valuetainment as the key word we go ahead and say here.
Super valuetainment.
Exactly. Your thoughts on the possible? I think if they try, I think if they hustle, I think if Ham gets them going, they
2
can
and 3.
Yeah, I think they could do 5-5, 6-4 as far as
2
the
and 3 of the next 5. I don't know.
Before they get to the Denver game.
I don't know. Yeah,
some of these teams, again, these teams that they're playing, that are upcoming, when it looks like Sacramento, when it looks like of course, Charlotte, which I mentioned. You've got Orlando, Miami, Atlanta. You got Charlotte again. Some of these are very winnable games. Miami, which has been up and down. Dallas, which has been up and down.
Yeah, but couldn't you qualify us as an up and down team as well, just as much as any of those other teams? This is my problem, is that I don't see there's what criteria are we basing the expectation of a win off of? It can't be availability. It can't be skill. It can't be
effort.
talent.
To me,
it can't be effort. So, I mean, I do you want me to say, like, I really hope we go 5-5? Yeah, I really hope we go 5-5.
What do you really think?
I'm done with predictions, man.
I'm like 3-7, 4-6. Yeah, I mean,
I'm thinking 5-5.
I'm done with predictions for the next 50 games.
I was right about the road trip.
Win on Wednesday.
Pound in the back. I was right on the road trip.
Win on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then we can start talking about basketball instead of
prevent from lighting the beam, please. Prevent from lighting the beam. I do not want to see the beam lit in Sacramento. So
the beam.
Those guys are gonna play hard though.
Do they have I shouldn't talk. As an Angel fan, we have a slogan called "Light That Baby Up." So
they actually have a great marketing campaign. If they win the game, then they light the beam. Like the Luxor here in town. Beam lights up. And all that. So yeah.
I'm into it. And
then they actually chanted in there, light the beam, in the crowd. It's an interactive crowd as opposed to the Lakers. We're just there. So yeah. Because
we filter out into the
we're not in the crowd because we're not expecting LeBron to be there every game. So yes, like Joe said before.
No, we are not.
Yes. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate you being part of what we're all about, because we're excited fans when you come and watch us and listen to us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Yeah, how about a Chuck guarantee, Joe? Oh my gosh.
You mean Chuck Barkley?
Yes. That's what Sovereign's asking.
Do you want me to do it in Charles Barkley voice?
So what is this Lakers show? And 1/3 of the show didn't watch the game. Go start a family bud.
What?
I think
you want to roll your family into.
I think African geographer is upset that my commentary reeled him in, as I said in the post, and now he's got to sit tonight knowing that my commentary got his attention, and that's the whole point. I got you. You're the fish. I got the reel. I got the bait, and you took it. And now I own you. I got you. And I'm going to fry you up. And
all investors, all potential
investors
for the
and enjoy it with some nice vegetables and some nice Chianti. So you guys got to understand how this works.
Laker Fast Break. We eat our audience alive.
All right. Don't be mad.
In more ways than one.
Don't be mad. Come on. Can't say somebody doesn't know what they're talking about when you're talking because I said something.
We are the Donner Party of Laker commentary.
My hair was actually brownish red when we started the season. I just want to know that.
I was 22 when we started the show.
This is true. But
I'm 48 today, man. This is 20.
There's a reason he didn't watch the game tonight, and he lets you know throughout the show. It's a microcosm of the way the league is set up. So hopefully you will actually check out the show and understand why he did. A guy who's been watching the product virtually every minute of every game for the past decade plus tells you he didn't watch today. It's for a reason.
One of my favorite
and he's got
things.
A family, by the way. We all have families.
Yeah, so. one of my favorite things is someone, and this happens pretty extensively. The funniest thing about my day is someone who's clueless telling me I'm clueless. I think it's funny.
I thought the best one was one that called you a narcissist and thought you would be offended, and you actually enjoyed it.
Well, the thing is, when you don't have feelings, you don't get offended. I keep having to tell people this. But they think I'm going off camera and crying. Guys, I can't tell you how comfortable I sleep at night. I sleep like a baby.
It's not just because he has a Tempur-Pedic mattress. It's also because
I do have that too, the one that comes up and everything.
And just to clarify,
by the way, that's overrated. Anyways, I never sleep sitting up like this. And
just to clarify,
like a cone head.
You've already started a family, have you not, Joe?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just to clarify, you've already started a family. Have
you
not,
yes,
Joe?
yes, a very good one too.
But
like I said to the narcissist identifier, if you think I'm certain things, you're probably right. So if you think I'm clueless, you're probably right. If we're talking about astrophysics, don't know jack about that. I don't know anything about plumbing other than the basic stuff that, changing a couple of knobs or whatever. So, yeah, I think what happens is on social media, more often than not, people delete you, unfriend you, cry, whatever it is that they do on Instagram. I don't know what they do there. Unfollow you. If you're going to bring that ammo, make sure you got enough of it, because I got unlimited ammo. And I am born for the fire.
Lakers Fast Break is brought to you by the Pentagon. We have unlimited ammo.
Well, I will say, though, it's been a great conversation, and it's gone
unlimited ammo. We eat our audience alive.
Many different locations than I thought.
It was a metaphor.
I take all things literally because it's just funny.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Just funny. It's just
Johnny.
It's just funny.
Johnny, I'm sorry to interrupt there, Jamie, but Johnny just mentioned one of my favorite quotes. It's a quote I put on my Lakers ball profile, and it's a line I actually wrote. It's not something I found. So when you're a secure person with who you are and you are confident and happy, and you realize how the world works, well, the easiest thing to say to someone who's not going to really listen, if to logic or whatever, is believe what you want. You're going to believe it anyway. It is America. You have that choice. I mean, if you do it in Saudi Arabia, you lose your hands. But we're in America. We're lucky here. So go ahead. Believe what you want. Just don't be sad when there's a return volley. And I'm not talking about, just a regular one from, the country club. I'm talking Martina Navratilova in her prime volley. And if you've ever watched those, still the best female athlete I've ever watched.
Well, once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly one of the
You didn't think you'd get a Martina Navratilova line tonight, did you?
I knew I would at some point in time. She is one of the most dominant players, period.
And saying that saying woman was a disservice.
Whatever. Yeah.
Athlete. One of the best athletes I've ever watched.
I saw her dominate. I saw her she would just steamroll other players, especially Wimbledon, she would just destroy other, her opponents, and she was a machine. Yeah, she was really, really something. Serena Williams at her peak, she was that's probably the only time I could get some type of comparison of that type of dominance, either male or female, in the tennis world. That's for sure. That's pretty much something I don't know if I'll ever see again, that kind of dominance on the tennis court. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Truly great conversation today. We tried to go ahead and get something out of today's show outside of just the fact that the Lakers didn't care about this game and just put it in their schedule as far as it's concerned. They didn't care.
We had one of our best shows.
What you rolled out, you don't care. You absolutely don't care about winning this game today. When you rolled out what you rolled out today.
So to those who are listening, if you're not going to care about winning, I'm not watching. Mm-hmm. You see the logic there? Does that not make sense? Are you not entertained?
Valuetainment.
Okay, we're here to entertain. We're also here to throw a little positive things here and some, I know there's some positive is subjective, but we also want to drop some knowledge here on what's going on. I'm not just throwing this in the air and hoping that whatever I say is going to work. No, I'm just telling you what I'm watching. As soon as I heard Westbrook was not going to play tonight, I knew something was wrong. That guy doesn't miss games. Why is he missing games? Well, you got the result tonight. They basically said, here, we're not going to try. We're 13-16, but we're not going to try. We're already behind the 8 ball, but we're not going to try. That's what cowards and quitters do. You want to be a quitter? You want to tell somebody they don't know what they're talking about? Then you come see me live, and I'll show you what it's about. No, I'm not talking about physical violence. I'm talking about education. I could show you how it works.
The Lakers Fast Break is proud to meet anybody anywhere, especially the bike racks at 3 o'clock.
I'm still thinking the convention. Why can't you just say, let's do a convention. Let's get that going and do it there where Joe, you can wait in line to go meet Joe or try to beat up Joe or.
Yeah, can we do it like in a boxing ring?
Or what have you, or just maybe have a conversation with Joe about
I will gladly be the bell ringer or the hot chick that moves the numbers around that does the rounds around the
Of course,
ring.
that is after the golf tournament. Wait, no, I'm sorry.
No. We're not even talking about. No, we're not even talking about the quadrathlon.
What the hell are you guys talking about, man? I'm not talking about physical violence here.
Well, we are talking about the quadrathlon with the shark attacks.
Yeah, that's a bucket list thing. I want to do that because I want to see.
And Joe was not promoting physical violence on anyone.
No, I'm a grown adult
He's
here.
a very peaceful guy.
I'm not gonna. I don't got time to go punch somebody and break my hand, and I can't do jack crap for 8 weeks. I don't do that crap.
That's right, Johnny 2K6. Enrollment is ongoing at LFB University. We are on winter break, but we are planning another lecture in the not too distant future on the 2012 Lakers. This is our next Lakers lecture discussion at the Lakers Fast Break University. We're still trying to recruit more professors, such as Professor Jamie Sweet. Still trying to go ahead and but he's busy at other universities. So I'm going to have to. Yeah, man.
Listen, I'm one of those guys that really likes learning, but I hate school.
Okay. I'm just asking. All right. I know Mr. Sean Grice couldn't make it today because he had a little case. While there was foot injuries and groin injuries, but supposedly for the Lakers game tonight, Sean Grice had a Toronto traffic injury, so he couldn't make it tonight. So
that's
Johnny 2K6. I want to say he
almost 2 in the morning.
Right. How about those Patriots? I know Sean mentioned it this morning in an email to us about the Patriots game and all that with the Raiders, and everybody's talking about that and how Bill Belichick was just like, and that was just.
This is not a football podcast. Save that for Pop Culture Cosmos.
All I say is that it was hilarious, but the Cal Stanford lateral, that was better.
Where they run over the band?
I think that.
Yep. Watch out for the trombone.
First of all, that wasn't a I don't even know what to call it. A mindless play.
Oh,
what was Jacoby Myers doing? It was a tie game.
That was a terrible pass.
It's a tie game. Why were they doing that? It's a tie game.
Yeah.
What were they trying to do? Was Mac Jones going to throw a 60-yard touchdown? He had to what was going on? And by the way, the most embarrassing part about that play is Chandler Jones stiff-arming Mac Jones like he was a mannequin at a mall. It didn't even look like, how big Mac Jones is?
He forgot the score. You were talking about why he did that pass because he forgot the score.
He forgot the score.
So he J.R. Smithed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did. Or Chris Webber before him, timeout and UNLV. It's a popular.
It could not have happened. It could not have been a fortuitous play anymore for the Raiders and have the New England Patriots be the recipients of that, because they've had to deal with the tuck rule. They've had to deal with that thing for 20 years, and this almost kind of overshadows it at this point of how bad it was. But I thought this weekend was some of the best sports I've ever watched.
Did I not mention that?
I made it up. Gee, you never said anything.
I did say it this weekend. It was one of the best weekends.
Did you not read Joe? Did you not read the email?
He did. He just did not want
I didn't read shit. I didn't read anything.
I'm proven.
I didn't. Not one word.
Listen.
I didn't read anything. I don't know anything, guys. I'm just making all this up.
Well, now it comes out clean in the wash there.
That's right.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break.
Did you hear Johnny's line from Days of Our Lives?
Your head's not. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
All right.
Did anybody watch that episode?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
No,
I grew up watching. My mom was a big, God rest her soul. My mom was a big soap opera watcher back in the day, and Victor, John Aniston, Jennifer Aniston's dad, who played one of the more notorious villains. I would say the first villain of my childhood was Victor Kiriakis of Days of Our Lives, and a little bit of my childhood died when he passed away. What was it, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah, so it's a lot of memories there, man. But he lived a good life. He still looked good on the way out, and it was a beautiful tribute by Jennifer to, say goodbye to him, and it goes to show you, he did something really well as a father. Because he did raise a good daughter there. I've always liked Jennifer Aniston, not for her. I mean, she's great at what she does, but I always thought that the amount of BS that she had to deal with, and the fact that she still kind of stays grounded is, it's commendable.
Well, we're gonna head it out here.
I'd like to say that this show has really gone places tonight. We've really touched on some
the
interesting.
Lakers fast break world turns on our own soap opera here. At the Lakers fast break.
We pay attention to our crowd.
Yes, we do.
We don't sit here and do the company lines. If you want the company lines, go to the other shows.
I'm still trying to make up what the company lines really are. Give me
company line is don't say anything that will offend people.
Oh, too late for that, Joe.
And you'll still do it, by the way, and then you're going to sit back there apologizing half the damn time. So it's easy. It's easy to just get out the gate and say, look, stop whining and just go. Just deal with it, or figure it out.
Great comment,
Captain Toboggan. I have some bad
right,
news
John
here.
McCallion. There you go.
We need a type the pop. Can we do a high pitch for the pop? Culture Cosmos.
Thanks for stopping by the Lakers fast break.
Culture Cosmos
by the Pop Culture Cosmos.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Well,
I'd rather you go like pop, pop.
Well, at the beginning of this conversation, I'm like, was I called what? It was a marijuana whatever? What? I'm gonna look at the comment. Yes,
essentially a dirty
marijuana.
Hippie. That was
somebody said I looked at like marijuana, sound like marijuana or something like that.
Oh, Bob Nelson or something.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Jim Howe. Thanks for joining us, Jim Howe. I sound like Doug Benson.
Yeah, well, there is a psychedelic thing going on with your mic, so it makes sense now.
Okay. Hey man, that mic is like really reeling me in.
There you go.
I don't know what's better bait, your mic or Joe's words.
Power from my microphone. Okay,
that's good, Jim. That's a good one. I have a story. I'll end it on this. So the last movie I watched on VHS was Office Space in 2001.
Yeah,
that was the last time I watched a movie on VHS. Right.
Hey man,
I was
a
couple years behind. I hadn't watched Office Space, but my buddy said, "Joe, watch Office Space. Here's my tape." I went home for a month straight. I'd watch that movie every night before I went to bed. Sometimes I'd fall asleep halfway through. Sometimes I'd watch it all the way through. One of the most phenomenal movies ever at that time for me, and that
in general,
it's just. That kind of stuff makes me happy in terms of being around for something like that, because it really is entertainment at its finest in the simplest way too. It didn't need to be flashy; it just was funny as hell. Lumbergh, Samir, Nanana Javad, whatever his name was. Yeah.
Gonna need you to come in on set.
And Lumbergh had the first of all, if you watch the movie as much as I have, you find out everything after a while. He's wearing suspenders with a belt. He's wearing suspenders with a belt.
I'm gonna need you to come in on Sunday too.
I think I'm going to need one of those TPS reports.
Thanks.
Howard Hill, good night. Happy holidays to you. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow. We're going to have NBA observations on whoever's going to be here. I think Joe, at least, maybe Sean Grice, maybe Jamie Sweet, on what they would do if they were commissioner of the league and how they would change it, because I'm going to have a conversation next week with
Joe already did that tonight.
Well, you're going to hear more of that on our NBA observations. Plus, we'll have some observations on what's going on with the NBA. Plus, right after that, on Wednesday, of course, the game against Sacramento. So we'll be here for a live watch party. And then, of course, after that, right there for you, of course, after the game at the Lakers Fast Break. So for Jamie Sweet, a.k.a. Yami Sweet, you got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Lakerholics.com with his 5 Things articles. Ox 1947, Joe Soro, you got to go ahead and check out what he's doing at LakersBall.com. And, of course, Sim Blades, if you're in the Southern California area and you want your lawn transformed into something much better, go ahead and check it out today, simblades.com. Jim House says, Doug Benson, marijuana smoking comedian. There you go, just to make sure it's clarified.
Oh, man, that mic is cool.
Zanger sign, take care, guys. Good night. All right, thanks so much, Z, always for being a great part of what we do. Howard Hill, Johnny 2K6, of course, Jim Howe, Zangerstein, again, Howard Hill, Sovereign, tremendous John McCallion. Please go again and give his channel a subscribe. We're almost at 400 subscribers, so please go ahead and subscribe today if you haven't already to get the latest notifications when we go live on the air each and every time out. We are almost there, almost to 400. We truly appreciate any help that you can provide us right here at the LFB. If you have any questions for us, always right there in the comments below after we go off the air. We do try to answer them in a good amount of time as best we can. Also, as well, you got to go ahead and check us out on social media, Lakers Fast Break, everywhere, even TikTok and Instagram. I've added that recently. Check out Joe trending on TikTok today at Lakers Fast Break. Also, as well, you can go ahead and just send me the old-fashioned email if you have any questions or comments, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. Daddy needs his beauty sleep. That is A.K. Sovereign. So he says, good night, everyone, for an awesome edition of the Lakers Fast Break Late Night with the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate it. Once again, the Lakers unfortunately do lose 130 to 104, but we'll be back tomorrow for some NBA observations and Wednesday for the game against the Sacramento Kings. You know we're here post-game having so much fun as only we can this holiday week right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Jingle bells, everyone.